Well, thank you, and salam alaikum. It's a real pleasure to be back in Riyadh, and I just wanted to start to say as well, thank you and congratulations for putting on such a wonderful event and forum. It's been very educational as well. So I'm here to talk about, let's see if the slide works. Coming up. Yeah, I'm here to talk about Emmerson PLC. This is a listed company on the UK stock market, on the A market, and the company is focused on a project in northern Morocco, the development of a low capex, high margin potash project in Morocco. The company is really blessed with an incredible board and a very, very talented management team, and the project itself has been developing very, very well, and there's been some real developments as well in the last few months. I will flag the, if it works. Not working? I will flag the disclaimer as it is a listed company. This is really an absolutely outstanding project and financial opportunity. I think for financial investors, suppliers, or financiers who are interested, certainly do welcome to have a look at the website and do contact me as well in the booth or the company. These figures are based on the feasibility which was done in 2020. The market actually, the pricing has substantially improved for potash beyond that. But even based on these figures on a Golder's feasibility report, the economics absolutely stand out. And you'll see I'll point to the top left here, 1.4 billion net asset value after tax figure. That now could be actually in around a $4 billion figure over a 19-year mine life with the ability to further extend. I'll speak to why the project is such a standout in a moment. For those who are familiar with potash, it really aligns to population growth. As there's growth in population and increased use of fertilizer, demand increases for potash. The byproduct on this project is salt, but potash is the main element. The project itself is located in Morocco. Morocco is a fertilizer hub. The local government entity, OCP, is really the world dominant player on phosphates. Domestically, they have incredible experience in mining, and so there's really abundant talent locally. And also it's a gateway into Africa, where we're seeing significant increased use and demand for fertilizer, and therefore also for potash. From an infrastructure and logistics perspective, again, the company is very, very blessed because it's really all already in place with the ability both in terms of for domestic use, with OCP having fertilizer, but also for the export markets. It's very closely located to the ports and Casablanca port, which is already set up for export. ESG is really front and center of the company and at heart in what they do. They have a motto at the end of always doing the right thing for the right reasons. This will create employment for Morocco, it will bring economics back for the country, and the company, as they go through the procurement stage, are looking also to maximize the benefits locally in Morocco. So ESG across all three is absolutely key and very, very important to the company and their heart. I really want to speak to two key parts which make this project really stand out relative to all other projects. 70% of the world's potash come from pretty remote locations in Canada, Belarus and Russia. So the physical location of Morocco means that this really feeds into the main markets which are importing. Logistically, the cost, both in terms of whether it's trucking or training to the ports and then shipping, mean there's a substantial difference from a logistic. We benchmark a lot of things at the moment for CFR to Brazil. This is one very obvious but gateway, but also say real demand locally in Africa as well as in Europe. The geology is the other thing which really stands out for Emmerson PLC and their project in Morocco. I wanted just to highlight two things. One is, and we've taken an example here of a typical Canadian project. In a lot of potash mines, you have an aquifer. This means that there's substantial expense put in to be able to drill the large shafts and manage the process around the aquifer. The geology here, there is no aquifer, so this reduces this cost substantially. The other is the depth. So the Emmerson project is only at 500 meters versus north of a kilometer. So the cost, again, radically reduced. Distance to the port, we're looking at 135 kilometers, very easily truckable through to the port for export, and then the shipping distance. So when we look at the comparables, this really means that the overall capex, the upfront capex is estimated at $411 million, is substantially less than you had in other projects. And the fact the infrastructure is already built. In most cases, people have to build the infrastructure from scratch. This is on the economics and the equity potential upside for this project. At this stage of company, the company feasibility assay was completed in 2020. The company has now received its mining permits. It has additional exploratory licenses, but for the whole business plan and financial model, this is based on the provided permits. Companies tend to value against net asset value. Here we'll see Emmerson at a current market cap, and as I mentioned, this figure of 1.4 billion net asset value is actually based on prior pricing. This is a substantial increase. There is significant upside on the valuation, and this, as it's a listed company, can see in the market cap on the AIM market. This number, which I referenced, of $411 million, it is quite a large investment, but relative to projects in potash, this is actually a relatively small figure. We'll go into more detail after, but the company has already secured its first large strategic investor. There will be room probably for one or two more strategic investors and maybe some further raise in the capital markets if required, which may not be. So there is a bit more equity to come. There will also be the project financing, where we see a lot of demand. Morocco has a lot of liquidity from the banking market. It's a very high credit rated and an excellent jurisdiction to be operating out of. So project debt will make up a large part of that capex, as well as export finance lines are available to take advantage of. I just want to speak a little bit about this, what's been a real sort of transformational strategic investment. These are discussions which have taken place for quite some time, but now we're publicly announced. This first strategic investor is an Asian fund. They provide an initial amount, I think just north of $6 million available, which provides the working capital to get the project to a financial closure, and then have a committed further $40 million, which are based on certain conditions, which is the financial closure and the issuance of all government licenses, particularly the ESIA, which is at an advanced stage. But this is then committed capital, which is a real trigger for then closing of a further strategic investors. That provides real comfort, I would say, for parties, given the significant commitment and the sophistication of the investor and the support they're providing to the project. At a technical level, the company now is starting to do the procurement. The RFP process have sort of commenced for some of the design stages, and there are some main packages of work which include the processing plant, the mine access, the mine site infrastructure, the tailing storage facilities, power to mine site, and water to mine site. And so the company has absolutely got the objective to put this project into production and really benefit from the economics from it. And this speaks to the procurement strategy. So for our suppliers, I do welcome you to approach the company as well. This is the basic engineering strategy. I will just flick through these slides. And this is the start of some of the ongoing works already on site in Morocco, with a team already on the ground, and also staffing is scaling up at this stage as well now with the investment. This is really the timetable, and Q4 2021 was the closure of strategic equity. The company is targeting around mid-year to achieve financial closure, with a view then of starting the sort of construction process. And as I mentioned this earlier, but really sort of emphasize the company, it does have the motto, always do the right thing and always do it the right way. And yeah, that was it. I'd like to thank you as well. Shukran. Thank you.